not cool. We have to give it back.
Why? They won't go to the police. We could split it 3 ways.
Sandy, because it's the ethical thing to do.
No, it's my money. I'm keeping it.
Robbie, listen to me. You don't need this money, and I'm going to tell you why. You have a God-given talent. You're a born salesman.
Yeah, I know. I was the head registrar at Flag for 8 years.
Listen, do you realize how rare and wonderful that talent is? You almost sold me on that cockamamie religion.
I could see that you were a seeker.
Look at him. He's still selling. Robbie, this money here is chump change compared to what you could make as a Hollywood talent agent.
Being an agent is ethical?
Shush! Trust me, I can train you. You can become a real power broker in this town. And when you're ready, you can take over my agency.
I thought you were selling the agency.
You really need to shush. What do you say? You and me peddling and packaging things to suppressive corporations?
What's it, Phaeton?
I will tell you later.
Okay, say we were to return it. How would that go?
I might know a guy. Hey, Tom. Norman Newlander. First of all, congrats on that last impossible mission. Riveting. Thrill a minute. And just so you know, $10 of your domestic box office came from me. Yeah, I got the senior discount. Yeah, so let's... Give me a minute here, Tom. So listen, kiddo. I need a favor. If you exteriorize from the situation, you see we're both very, very lucky.
Exteriorize?
Yeah, pop out of your head and see the situation from the vantage point of an immortal spirit.
A fate.
Now you're getting it. By taking control away from you, Mindy assures the legacy of your studio. The Kaminsky name attains a certain limited timelessness.
Why limited?
Well, she's not likely to have any kids with old man Shitty Pants. And Robbie will eventually do the same thing with my agency, which gives me that sense of purpose that I was looking for.
What about your daughter?
She's one Coors Light away from the gates of hell. Let us learn yoga for a while. We'll see what happens. Most important is you need to use this time to get well.
That seems to be all that I do these days. You know, I take medicine for this, get treatment for that, and it never stops.
It'll stop.
Here's a funny thing. Early this evening, I got into a pissing match over the craft of acting with Allison Janney.
I'd ask who won, but we both know how you pee. Cheers.
Cheers, buddy. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much for coming. If you're wondering why we're doing this in a non-denominational chapel instead of a synagogue with a rabbi, that's because Norman, he wanted it that way. Just before he died, he said to me, Sandy, you want to stick me in a rowboat, push it into the LA River, set it on fire? That's fine. Just spare everybody the religious claptrap. Religious claptrap. As you might guess, Norman belonged to the Reform School of Judaism. I've been trying to figure out how to pay homage to this man. And then I remembered one of his favorite sayings. The truth is a good fallback position. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to fall back on the truth. It was tough being Norman's friend. But for over 50 years, that's what I was. 50 years of him giving me a hard time about the women I dated, the women I married, the divorces I suffered through, the money I lost, money I never had, even the booze I drank. He found fault just about every aspect of my life.
Homage, Dad. Pay homage.
He lent me money when I was in trouble, but he never let me forget it. No. My nose got rubbed in it over and over again. When I went through that whole cancer deal last year, I was scared out of my mind. My best friend, my good buddy, he kept joking about how I should save my hair when it falls out and use it to make a tea cozy. A tea cozy. Well, fuck you very much, good buddy. I didn't lose one strand. Not one. But I did lose you. And I don't know how I'm going to get through that. I don't know how I'm just supposed to go about my business without you. And for the record, I did call the city of LA about setting you on fire in a rowboat, but I couldn't get a permit for a Viking funeral. Maybe in Ventura County, but not here. Thank you.
I did not see that coming.
We are here today to mourn the passing of my grandfather's meat body. But that decaying collection of cells is not who or what he was. My grandfather was an immortal spirit who has lived countless millions of lives.
Scientology.
And like all immortal spirits, he has roamed the universe for eons in search of a game. For that is what we do. We play games, and the biggest game that we play is to forget our true identity so that we can play hide and seek with ourselves. And when the day comes that we find ourselves, that we know with absolute certainty that we are static awareness, senior to matter, energy, space, and time, then we win. I know that to be true for myself, and now my grandpa knows it too. Although, without having crossed LRH's bridge of total freedom, he will quickly be sucked back into the hellish merry-go-round of birth and death. Thank you.
My father never gave up on me. He should have. But he never did. Time after time, I let him down, but he just refused to give up. So, as part of my amends to him, my sponsor and I decided that I should pay him back for all the rehabs and therapists and wilderness retreats that he sent me to. Not counting inflation, I came to a little over $900,000, and that doesn't include the $300,000 in legal fees to beat that bogus intent to sell bus. Like I would ever be stupid enough to sell my own stash. Anyway, I owe my papa $1.2 million, and I'm gonna use part of my inheritance to pay him back. Well, not him, obviously, because, I am gonna pay him back by building a drug rehab in the Galapagos Islands, where drug addicts and alcoholics and people with eating disorders can turn their life around while learning about Charles Darwin and evolution. So in honor of my father, the man who never gave up on me, the rehab will be called the Sweet Surrender, because in sobriety you have to surrender to one. And sweet will be spelled S-U-I-T-E, because all the rooms will be junior suites or better, thank you.
When I lost my husband, I thought, that's it, I'm alone now. But miracle of miracles, I ran into a man with whom I'd had a hot and heavy fling way back in 1967. That man was your dad and your grandpa. Well, and first we assumed that the relationship this time would be merely platonic. old friends, holding hands, taking a walk in the park, sharing meals. But that's not what happened at all. With a little encouragement from me and a little pharmaceutical assistance, Norman quickly turned into the voracious stud that ravaged me all those years ago. It was wonderful. And his lust was gentle, but demanding, and punctual. Oh, you could set your watch by it. 7:30 a.m. on Wednesdays and Sundays. After a cup of coffee and a quick visit to the bathroom, he would take me from behind and make me quiver and shake like a 16-year-old girl who's been rebelling against her overly religious parents. Wednesday and Sunday mornings, Norman Newlander loved me like no other man. Wednesday and Sunday mornings at 7:30 to 7:45.
I'm a little horny right now.
I was Norman's assistant for 22 years. I arranged his work schedule, his personal schedule, his travel plans, his vacations. I made sure he had regular medical, dental, dermatology, and ophthalmology. I also took care of all of his lunch and dinner reservations, always reminding the restaurants how important he was, so that he had a nice table.
Classic Homo sapien.
I also made sure his wife and daughter got birthday cards and flowers, same for Valentine's Day, and 8 times I made arrangements for his daughter to go to the very best rehabs. But in all that time, I never told Norman how much he meant to me. How making him happy made me happy. How his welfare was my first thought in the morning and my last thought before I went to sleep. Thank you.
Should we get worried about her?
I'm more worried about him.
He'll be okay. Just gotta give him time.
I hope so.
Yeah. A couple of years ago, my best friend in the world passed away unexpectedly. Stevie Chartercourt, ever tell you about him?
No.
Great guy. Great guy. We were pals since like 3rd grade. And I'll tell you, when he died, I didn't feel anything. I was numb.
It's awful.
No. See, I think it's actually a survival mechanism. It's like nature's way of being compassionate.
What do you mean?
Well, because when it happened, the pain was too much. But over time, I was able to feel the grief more and more and more till it just became a part of who I am. It's like it morphed into acceptance, which is sort of a wisdom.
Actually, pretty comforting. You are wise.
I remember when high school, I must have been 14 or 15. Me and Stevie smoked a joint and we decided to light our farts on fire.
That's a real thing.
Oh, yeah. You lie on your back with your legs up in the air, hold the match in front of your ass, you let one rip, and the big blue flame shoots out. Anyway, somehow the pubes on Stevie's balls caught fire, and he was screaming. He was crying and screaming for me to pat it out. I said, pat it out. I'm not going to touch his balls. So long story short, his mother had to drive him to the emergency room. She did not want to touch his balls either. Trust me.
So your wisdom came later in life.
It wasn't after that, yes. Boy, what a deal. You're crazy not to get one.
I'm okay. Sure, it's delicious.
I would like to say something.
And I just enjoy it.
No, you need to hear it. Sandy, I'm very grateful for our friendship. And I want you to know how happy I am to have you in my life.
How are you not? What? Oh, I'm fine, thank you. You need something? I just wanted to remind you that I am a flag-trained Class 8 auditor. I can help you process your grief. I don't need any help, but thank you. Suppressed emotional pain can manifest as a physical ailment. I'm fine, buddy. Malignant tumors are not uncommon. Right, I'm glad Scientology helped you be all you can be. That's Marines. Either way, just leave me the fuck alone. See, that's anger, which is a little higher on the emotional scale than greed is.
I remember my first biopsy. It's very unpleasant.
Such a asshole. It's never good.
Yeah. There's blood in your stool. You know where it's coming from.
Always enjoy.
Anything else? Yes. In your professional opinion, what did you find this hand? I don't know. They're all good. All right. Let's do a story for him. So last night before you execute the magistrate, what hand did you have your turkey sandwich before they inject you with a cocktail of death? Glaze. Mr. Gallivan, half a pound honey glaze, please. I would have been about 252 there.
He was a wonderful man.
Game is the best.
Cat's pajamas.
The bee's knees.
You know, we were talking about getting married.
No, I didn't know that. I'm so sorry.
And I was also talking about us having a baby.
Yeah.
Mr. Fine.
Serious?
As a heart attack.
Oh. Okay. Now, when you say having a baby, you mean like a doctor?
No, I mean like having a baby.
Right. Right.
Of course, we had to put it on hold until I